Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to sift through the sources and get you informed fast. Now, when it comes to UFOs, alien phenomena, you always hear that dismissive thing, right? Where's the hard proof?
Yeah, people often point way back, like decades ago to Roswell or something.
Exactly. Well, today we're doing a deep dive into something much more recent, 2008. It's just as perplexing.
And the accounts, the investigations around this one, they really challenge that whole no proof idea.
So what are we looking at today?
We're focusing on an event near Needles, California, May 2008. We're going to unpack some specific, really detailed witness reports.
Okay.
We're talking about sightings of an object, a very fast military response, and even some mysterious figures showing up afterwards.
Right.
So the kind of case that makes you reconsider what proof even means when, the official story is just silence.
Okay, let's unpack this. Our story kicks off early morning, May 14th, 2008, near Needles, California, right there by the Colorado River.
3 a.m., roughly.
Yeah, and something pretty weird falls out of the sky.
So who saw it first?
Well, one of the key witnesses, and this is important, is a guy named Frank Costigan. He was the former chief of airport security at LAX.
Ah, so someone trained to observe things in the air, not just a random person.
Precisely. He's up at 3 a.m., letting his cat out, and bam, sees this fiery object streak across the sky.
Fiery how? Like a meteor.
Not quite. He said it had a bluish or green hue, and it was incredibly bright. Bright enough, he said, to actually light up the ground beneath it.
Wow, okay.
And the flight path was strange. He described it speeding up, then slowing right down, then hitting the gas again. Really erratic.
Not like a planar meteor then?
No.
Not.
And given how bright and presumably large it was, he was braced for a crash sound, a big impact. Nothing. Silence. It just disappeared from view without that expected crash sound.
Huh. And were there other witnesses?
Oh, yeah. Others nearby added more details. Some described it as oval-shaped or oblong. Size-wise, people were saying things like size of a semi-trailer, maybe even a tank. Pretty big.
And the color?
That turquoise hue kept coming up. People were really insistent this was no meteorite. It looked more like a plane crashing, but clearly wasn't one.
So Costigan's account kind of sets the scene, but these other descriptions really flesh it out.
Right. What jumps out at you about these descriptions combined?
Well, it's the consistency, isn't it? You have multiple people describing not just the look, the shape, the size, that specific turquoise color, but also the behavior.
The speeding up, slowing down.
Exactly. That erratic movement. These aren't just vague lights in the sky. The details paint a picture of something, something controlled, perhaps, and definitely not a natural object or any standard aircraft we know.
It immediately feels different.
It does. It sets the stage for something genuinely anomalous happening there.
Okay, so the object goes down near the river. What happens next? This brings in another key witness.
Right, the man known as Bob on the river.
Yeah, he lived on a houseboat nearby. He actually saw the fiery object come down, said it crashed about 100 yards west of where he was, right on the riverbank.
So he saw the impact point.
He did, and he described hearing a thump. Just a thunk, interestingly, not a big explosion.
A thump, okay.
And then, get this, he tries to call 911 on his cell phone. Dead. Completely dead. Right after seeing this thing crash.
Whoa. Okay, that's weird, like something out of a movie, your phone just dying right then.
Seriously. But here's where it gets really interesting, maybe even more telling. The military response.
How fast are we talking?
Helicopters were on the scene just 17 minutes after Boeing saw it crash.
17. 1 to 7.
17 minutes. Think about that. That's incredibly fast for, any kind of emergency response, let alone something out in a relatively remote area by the river.
Yeah, that time frame.
Mm-hmm.
What does that suggest? Standard procedure or something else?
Well, what do you think? 17 minutes.
I mean, that kind of speed, that coordination, it strongly suggests they weren't just reacting. It points towards prior knowledge.
Like they were already tracking it.
Or had intelligence it was coming down. It feels less like an emergency response and more like a planned retrieval, a cleanup operation, basically, ready to go.
That efficiency does seem unusual.
Especially involving heavy lift helicopters like a sky crane showing up that quickly. That takes coordination. It suggests they knew exactly what they were dealing with and what needed to be done fast.
So Bob sees these helicopters arrive. How many?
You said at least 5. Military-type choppers, including, as you mentioned, a huge sky crane.
And he noticed something else, too, something kind of chilling.
Oh.
He said one of the choppers kept a spotlight aimed right at him and another light on his boat.
So they knew he was there. They were watching the witness.
Seems like it. He then watched as the sky crane actually lifted this oval-shaped object, which he said was still glowing faintly right off the riverbank,
Lifted the whole thing.
hauled it away. The helicopters left in formation, heading north, kind of towards Las Vegas.
Wow. And was his account corroborated? Anyone else see this?
Yes. A guy named Brad Allen, over in Bullhead City nearby, reported seeing that same aerial procession. Helicopters, with what he described as a faint green object, slung underneath one of them.
Okay, so multiple points of view on the retrieval.
Exactly. But the story doesn't stop there. It actually takes an even stranger turn.
How so?
We move into this sort of human element, people showing up after the event, what some have called a Men in Black phenomena.
Okay. This is where it gets really weird.
Yeah. David Hayes, he owned KTO radio there in Needles. He's driving to work later that morning.
And sees something?
Spots this odd formation of dark vehicles turning off the highway, big, dark SUVs or trucks. He even drew a picture of the lead one later.
What did it look like?
A large truck, he said, with some kind of dome on top and a black structure on it that reminded him of a stealth fighter. And here's the kicker. U.S. government plates.
Government plates.
Okay.
And the people inside.
Hayes said they had military bearings, looked very official, but they weren't in uniform.
Plain clothes.
Right. And then it gets unnerving. One of the drivers makes direct eye contact with Hayes, just stares at him.
And
then follows him for a bit. Later that day, Hayes sees one of those same dark vehicles parked right outside his radio station, just sitting there.
Surveillance.
That's sure what it felt like to him. He described the whole thing as having a Men in Black sort of a feel, said it was serious as a heart attack.
I bet. Did anyone else at the station see them?
Yes. His colleague, Paul Fick, saw them too. Described these mystery men in blacked-out vehicles, said they were guys sitting there with the sunglasses on, very stiff-looking, and one truck was parked, pointed directly at their radio tower.
Just watching. Intimidating, maybe.
Feels like it.
Yeah.
And adding to this whole unsettling vibe, remember Bob on the River?
The guy on the houseboat? Yeah.
After his story started getting out, picked up by national news,
Yeah.
he disappeared.
Disappeared. Like vanished.
Completely. Just gone. Which, fuels speculation about these mystery figures maybe encouraging him to leave. Or worse.
Okay, so these mystery men, couldn't they just be standard intelligence agents or, law enforcement doing a follow-up?
Maybe, but some details push it beyond that, don't you think? Like Hayes' description of that weird truck.
Yeah, the stealth fighter-like structure isn't standard issue. And then there's another encounter, right? Tony Fagan.
Exactly. Tony Fagan, a political organizer. She's at some event, and this guy comes up to her.
Who was he?
Introduced himself as Phil. She described him as very crisp, military haircut, way too clean-cut, just off.
Okay. And what did Phil want?
He just started grilling her, relentlessly asking about the UFO crash. What was the size, the color, what exactly hit the water?
But she wasn't a primary witness, was she?
No, she didn't really know much, and apparently Phil got very frustrated when she couldn't give him the details he wanted. It wasn't just casual questions, it felt like an interrogation.
So putting these encounters together, the surveillance, the direct questioning, Bob's disappearance, what's the pattern here?
It really does suggest a concerted effort, doesn't it? Not just random checks, but a deliberate campaign to, control the information?
Yeah, control the narrative,
Right.
tie up loose ends, maybe intimidate witnesses into silence. You see this pattern in other alleged cover-ups, too.
And the psychological impact must be immense. Imagine being followed, interrogated, or seeing your friend just vanish after talking about it.
Exactly. It underscores the potential consequences for ordinary people who happen to witness something extraordinary, something certain authorities might want kept quiet.
So faced with all this weirdness, the object, the response, these mystery men, some people did try to get official answers.
Like the local CBS News team and KTOX radio started digging.
Yeah, they went to everyone, contacted nearly every agency you could think of across 3 states. Police, airports like Laughlin, National Weather Service, the FAA.
Military bases, too.
Oh yeah, Nellis Air Force Base, others. They cast a wide net.
And what did they find? Any confirmations?
Basically, nothing. A complete stonewall. Agency after agency seemed to know anything about it. Just denials or silence.
Total blank.
Almost. There was this one intriguing little caveat from 2 federal intelligence agencies.
What was that?
They didn't say we have no records. They said they have no records they can release.
Subtle but potentially significant difference. Nothing we can tell you.
Exactly. And the FAA was similarly evasive. They claim they don't retain records of what might have been in the air over the river, which sounds Convenient.
Very convenient. So official channels are a dead end.
Yeah.
But did the investigators find anything concrete?
They did manage to dig up a few little breadcrumbs, pieces of indirect confirmation.
Like what?
Okay, first, a public record showing at least one U.S. Army helicopter was in that specific area at the right time. But here's the odd part. It was listed as being attached to a U.S. base in Europe.
A helicopter from a European base operating near Needles, California. That's
Right. Then they found a single transponder reading from May 14th confirming at least one military chopper's presence electronically.
okay, so independent confirmation of military air activity.
Yes. And another piece. Turns out a detachment of the Night Stalkers, that's the Army's Special Operations Aviation Regiment. Very elite, they were operating out of Henderson Airport near Las Vegas during that exact time frame.
The Night Stalkers. They often handle sensitive missions, special retrieval operations.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? And one last observation from an investigator who visited the supposed crash site later.
Yeah.
Said it looked too clean, like unnaturally clean, suggesting someone had done a very thorough cleanup job immediately.
Right. All these little pieces. The weird helicopter record, the transponder ping, the Night Stalkers nearby, the clean site. Compared to the official, we know nothing.
It's a stark contrast, isn't it? You've got numerous consistent witnesses describing this object and the retrieval.
And then blanket denial from official sources. But those little nuggets of data, the helicopter from Europe, the no records to release line, they don't scream ignorance. They hint more at deliberate concealment.
A cover-up.
It points that way. It really highlights the challenge,
Yeah.
How do you find proof when there seem to be active efforts to suppress the evidence or muddy the waters?
It almost forces you to ask if the lack of an official record, combined with everything else, becomes its own kind of evidence.
That's a really interesting point. Is the official silence in this context actually more telling than a denial?
So let's try to pull this all together. What does it all mean? We've got this unidentified object seen by multiple credible people.
Described consistently.
Then an incredibly fast, highly coordinated military response to grab it.
Within minutes, using specialized gear like a sky crane.
Followed by these strange figures, the Men in Black types, seemingly doing cleanup, surveillance, intimidation.
Yeah, silencing witnesses, controlling the information flow.
That's quite a picture.
It really does. And look, the sources we've examined, they don't definitively say this was an alien spacecraft or this was top secret military tech. We don't know what the object was, whether it was, man-made or off-planet.
Right. The ultimate origin remains unknown.
But the actions of the military, showing up in 17 minutes, cordoning off the area, lifting the object, the subsequent witness intimidation, that strongly suggests they knew what it was, or at least knew it was something they had to retrieve immediately and secretly.
Their response implies they were tracking it, knew its importance.
Exactly. The determination to hide and cover up the incident seems undeniable based on the witness accounts and the investigators' findings, even without an official admission.
It leaves you wondering.
It really does. And maybe the final thought for you listening is this. This incident, and others like it, they compel us to consider. If events like this happen and the official channels just go quiet or actively obstruct, how should we evaluate the burden of proof?
Yeah, what counts as proof when the people who likely have it are hiding it?
Precisely. And what does it say about our public institutions when their response seems designed to obscure the truth rather than inform the public? It really makes you question transparency, doesn't it?